Hi, my name is Mark and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, The Media Nerd. Today's video is really special and, borderline exciting for me. Being a media nerd, it is exciting for me. What happened is I had a client stop by with all of this stuff. And this is all made by Polaroid, and this is called a Polavision photo tape cassette, and it's Super 8mm film. Now this is an all-inclusive unit by Polaroid that was made in like 1977, gained some popularity until about the mid-1980s, and then it fizzled out. But basically what it does is you put this cartridge in your 8mm film camera and you shoot, and when it rewinds it, it automatically develops it, and then to play it, you put it in this machine here to view it. It's pretty cool, and she brought me everything. Check this out. This is the Polaroid Polavision camera that's in this cool little thing right here. And if you see on the side, I'll get up here to open it up, you can see where the cartridge goes in and it's color coded. So it goes blue and yellow and it fits in. It looks like just like that to be able to shoot. Plus, let's put this back. This is a really neat case, by the way. It also came with its own light that apparently goes on top of the camera. Check this out. This is really cool stuff as far as I'm concerned. So when you're done shooting your film and it rewinds and it gets developed, then you put it in this television. And the thing is, this is the only way that it will play the picture. So let me flip this up. On the top, it's color coded as well with the blue and yellow, so you know exactly how to put your cassette in, and you put it in, you click it down, and then it should play. Let's see if it actually gets a picture on this one. There it is. That is really cool. And it looks like it also has a focus adjust right here, which I can't really see, has a handle. But thing is, it has to go through the entire tape and there's no stop button, and then it automatically rewinds it. It's really loud as well. But here's the thing, there's no outputs on this machine. So I can't just take an RCA cable and run out and capture it onto my computer that way. I have to actually put it on a Super 8mm reel so I can get it, digitized. So let's just wait until this finishes up. Now, one thing I want to let you know is that these aren't 50-foot reels. This is only about 35 feet. So it's only going to take about maybe 2 minutes to run through. Do 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 do. Swing low, sweet chariot. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I don't know the rest of these words. We're done. So now, looks like it's gonna rewind it. Oh my God, that was a little startling. This is only like the second time I played with this machine. So it rewound it, and that's it. Now the thing about this is, if you can see right here, there is a little light, so I guess that's what projects the film, or maybe that's the light that develops it. I really don't know much about how this totally works, but you get the gist of it. So now what we're gonna do is get this out of this cassette and put it on a reel. Here's the cassette, and we're going to have to pull the Super 8mm film out. This cassette is factory sealed, and I think it would take a lot of doing to try to break it open, which I really don't want to do, but you can just pull it out. And then we're gonna have to put a leader on it and then put it on a take-up reel. The challenge with putting it on a take-up reel is that this is actually spooled differently than what's on a film reel, so it's gonna wind backwards, I guess, so it could possibly, you know, come off of the reel, so we're gonna have to be careful. But just get a paper, just get your scissors or something underneath, pull it open like that, and I'm just going to slice it right like that. Scissors, pull it out a little ways. Now I have my splicer right here, so we're gonna have to splice this on. Now, if you can't see what I'm doing very well, I do have a video that shows how to splice film, so you can always check that out. But we're gonna lay this on. Just like that. I take an old piece of leader. Put that on that way. I have my splicing tape. This is a cool mechanism. It just sort of presses down and it's gonna make a nice clean splice just like that. Take our press tape. And there's two little wings on the top of the press tape here. You want those up. And we're gonna lay it right over top of the film. That way, I'm gonna press my thumb down on one side. I'm gonna pull this tape off, which exposes the tape. I'm gonna press that down. Do that to the other side. Great. We're gonna pull it off and we're gonna splice the other side. Do it the exact same way. You have to get it back on. This whole process is time consuming, I'm not gonna lie to you. Here's our other side of the press tape. That's a pretty nice clean splice, just like that. Now it's time to put it on the take-up reel, and this is what's going to be a little bit of a challenge. This antique is what I use to clean my film, and I'm going to use this to get this film out of the cassette. So the first thing you want to do is get it onto the take-up reel, and you need to make sure that you get it right, because it has to go into the film digitizer that you're going to use. And it's just gonna wind just like that. And it's gonna make a little bit of noise, and it's not gonna take too much time, but when we get to the end of it, we will have to cut it. It's at the end. Great. I'm gonna tighten this down so it doesn't start spooling all over the place. And I'm going to cut it just right there. That looks great. See how it's already starting to come out? That's not great. I have this Super 8mm empty reel, and we're gonna put it on this side. And then we gotta get this over and onto it. And remember, it is gonna rewind backwards. So it's gonna wanna spool off of this as well. Tighten that for a second. Now, while I'm doing this, I know that it's been in this canister since like 1976, so it shouldn't be dirty, but I'm still gonna clean it, and I'm using this PEC 12 fluid, and these are PEC 12 pads, and this is what you use to clean 8mm film. Besides cleaning it, it's also gonna lube it up a little bit so it will run through my 8mm film scanner a little bit easier, and I'm going to use the Kodak reels to process this film. So I'm going to pinch it, loosen this up a little bit, and I'm going to start rewinding it. There we go. All right. And it is now ready to go into the film digitizer. So we're gonna get that going, but let's get set up for that section. All right, we're gonna start digitizing it. This is the Kodak Reels 8mm and Super 8mm film digitizer. If you don't know how to use it, I do have a video explaining how to use that. This one is actually one of the more current models. See, it has 3 pins here instead of the 4. But what you need to do, there's 4 little pins that you have to get this film under. It can be a little bit of a challenge. There's one on the end. There's 2 in the middle. Hold it down and get the end one in. Hold it and then close the film, the lid. Let's clamp down. Going to now get the film on the take-up reel. Now remember, it's on like backwards, so it might just start spewing everywhere. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's go ahead and turn it on. There we go. I have it on the Super 8mm film setting, right there. I'm gonna hit OK to capture, and we're gonna let it run, and hopefully it'll just sort of line up. If not, I'm gonna have to stop it and adjust how it's going through this machine. It doesn't look too bad. The film is a little cloudy, but it is what it is. Maybe it'll clear up. Oh, that's clearing up a little bit. And it looks like it's lined up pretty good with the lens for the capture purposes. Typical 50-foot reel takes about 20 minutes to a half an hour to process. So this is gonna take probably about 15 minutes to run through frame by frame. So we're just gonna let this do what it does, and then I'm gonna get it on the Mac in Final Cut X and process it and see how it turns out in the end. I'm here at my editing workstation. I'm using a Mac and Final Cut, and this is the SD card that the film was captured on using the Kodak Reels. I'm gonna put that right in. We're gonna go ahead and just launch out Final Cut and get this film going. So Final Cut always likes to open up an untitled. I'm just gonna say close, new, library, and I already created a folder called Polavision, so I'm gonna just save this as Polavision, 8mm film. All right, here's the date. You can leave that alone or you can name it whatever you want. I just always change it. So now I'm going to hit Command I, which is my import. In Volume 1, I'm going to pick Movie 1 and make sure that I copy to the library and hit Import. There it is right there. I'm going to rename it Reel 2 because there is a film that was before this one, so I want to make sure to keep everything in order. Now, I still need to create a project within my library. So what I want to do is hit this little inspector, and this is telling me the resolution and the frames per second for the film. So I'm just going to go to File, New Project, call this Polavision 8mm film, and the video, it goes to 1080p. That's the last time I worked on it. So I'm going to go to Custom, and it's going to let me change the resolution. So I'm going to match it, 1728 by 1296. Now it does say 20 frames per second for this film, but Final Cut only gives you a few different options, so I'm going to go as low as I can, which is 23.98p. It's still going to look great. So enter. So here's my timeline right here. I'm going to bring the Polavision in by hitting W. Just going to clean up the beginning just a little bit, just bring it in. The end had a little bit of stutter to it, so I'm going to just clean up that. Now, if you can see on the film, it did scan the bottom of the film at the top. So here it is right there, which is actually down here. So I'm just going to clean that up for my client, make it look as good as I can. So I'm going to just increase it to 104, scale it up, see how it sort of made it disappear. And if I just want to save the bottom, I can bring it up just a little bit, hit done. And that is all there is to it using Final Cut. If I want to put a fade in and out, I just have the video selected. I'm going to hit cross dissolve. It's going to put a 1 second cross dissolve at the beginning and the end. Now let's look at this big screen. So it does look pretty good. I mean, it's not great. I'm not exactly sure what all these little lines are. It definitely wasn't from the Kodak reels. It was from the film, maybe from the camera, and there's 12 other reels that I have to process. So I'll be able to figure out what is going on, but I'm pretty sure that it was the film, the age, 1976, and or the camera that it was shot on. I'm gonna stop the video right here for a second because those lines on the screen is really bothering me. Oh, by the way, this is my cat Xander. He really wanted to be on my lap for this section of the video, I guess. So I tried a different film and it's being transferred right now and I'm getting the same liney effect. But when I had put the film in the all-inclusive TV projector, I wasn't getting those kind of lines. If you look back on the video, you'll see that there was no line. So I think that because it's such an all-inclusive machine and camera and film, that is why we're getting the lines when I'm trying to transfer it using the same method I use to transfer other 8mm film. Now, maybe if I put this 8mm film in an actual projector and project it on the screen and videotape it with a camera, maybe I'll get different results, but I really don't know, and I'm not going to try that method right now. Maybe that'll be a different video. But back to this video. But in all intents and purposes, I was able to take the film out of that cassette and get it transferred, so now they can see this and enjoy their old family memories. So that was a pretty tedious process transferring that Polavision Super 8mm film that was on the cassette and get it on the computer. I only have 11 more of those to do. Whew. Now, if you have 8mm film or any kind of media that you would like to have digitized, and you don't have the time or you don't have the means, I would love to be able to help you out. You can contact me through my website at www.coloradospringsvideo.com. I do have an order form that you can fill out and send to me. I will check out what you have and I will email you back with an estimate. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe, like, and ring that bell for future notifications. You have yourself a wonderful day.